Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirosho here, and now, before I do get started, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of events happening. Deku, he ran into a little bit of a problem. Black Whip manifested towards the end of a battle, and it went completely out of control. Deku, for the last 20 to 30 minutes, he kept people distracted whenever it did come down to the White Fangs. A lot of power was being thrown around. Deku made sure to evade, move, attack, evade, move, and attack. He made sure to keep attention solely focused on himself, allowing the group to deal with Bakugo, bringing him back into Yagi territory. Whenever he was safe, they had a plan to take these people out. And that was a problem. Shortly after Black Whip manifested, he was paralyzed by someone's ability. They dragged him away, and a fighting force in the Badlands went in to try and finish off the rest of the White Fangs. And this certainly was a bad thing. Deku, he had a lot of battle wounds that needed to be taken care of. They were tended to, and he lost his ring in the battlefield. Right now, they made him a bit of an offer. He kept telling them to contact the Yagi family, but even if he was one of their guys, which they highly doubted, if they contacted the Yagi family, opened negotiations and talked about how, hey, we found one of your guys out here. We only paralyzed him, knocked him out, and dragged him back to our lair. That's all we did. No hard feelings, right? Yeah. Heads might roll just for that. The Yagis are the big men around town, on this side of Japan. You don't want to fuck with them, otherwise everyone you know might have their heads roll. And that might even include the guy down the road you saw walking his dog. Hell, it might be a coin toss whether or not what happens to the animal. It's a complicated situation. Now, that does mean quite a bit. Deku, he was then sold off to the market. In the Badlands for people, they had a lot of things they wanted to do. And there was Sir Night-Eye. Sir Night-Eye does avoid trying to use his ability. He does try to avoid looking into the future. He's seen a number of things using his ability in the past that have gone badly. His intervention has always led to either good things or bad things happening. Events he may not be able to change, or events he has not changed. And the idea that he has to use his ability to try and find out what happens to Deku certainly got a lot of people in the family talking. Night-Eye is taking a lot of care and attention towards this kid. Fact is, if he keeps doing this, Deku is going to be put on the radar of a lot of people. He's already on the radar of the other families. And right now, the Yagi family themselves are still trying to get terms settled whenever it does come down to this kid. I mean, questions have been raised. With the death of All Might, that's taking more precedent. This kid is a rising star. Yes. And from their understanding, he has the possibility, the potential, to be the next head of the Yagi family. And that certainly does mean a lot. Now, we do currently cut to Deku. Deku, he doesn't remember a lot about what happened. They may have dosed him with something, they may have pumped something into his collar. He's not sure. He's already barely able to use his damn power. After they sold him off, they strapped a new shiny collar on him, and they made sure it had some of that fluid inside the vial, though this time he did feel his connection to his power return. He did feel a little bit of a pain in his neck. And whenever he looked around the truck he was inside of, a lot of people, they were annoyed. Some looked battle-worn, old, and they had scars. And there was him. He was a younger man. Someone who's not even at the age of 20. And that got a few heads turned to him. The idea that a young kid is in here, a teenager, that can be good or a bad thing. Good because either his odds of survival are gonna rise because of his abilities, or bad because he was bought for a reason. No one really does understand where it does come down to these people. And right now, Deku, he does go to think about that. That was yesterday. They checked in on his wounds last night. They gave him some water, bread, and what could be passably called slop. It didn't look too damn good, but it was food, and his sophisticated palate, quote unquote, has had way worse. It was bland, but it was food. And Deku, he currently does lay there right now, leaning up against the cold wall. He has what can be passably called a blanket laying on his side, and a pillow leaned up against the bars, as someone does come by and smack the bars. Danger sense barely going to register as a small ping in his mind. And whenever he does a jump up, he does go to turn, looking around before the person they do to talk about it, smacking the bars again with a baton. Get up. Right now, he needs to get up for the line, otherwise he may miss breakfast and he may miss meeting the brothers. They're in charge. And he does slowly climb to his feet. His leg does still throb with pain, along with his arm. Right now, he does go to walk out as he does stare at a few other people. They do start to make their way down the hallway. Men with weapons going to stare at many of them, looking at them, and going to point a few things out. Eventually, a line does get to form. People, they are allowed to move forwards after their collars are inspected, and they are put into a large group. Many of them just staying there openly. And whenever Deku does stand in line, he does look around, seeing if he can find anyone around his age who he may be able to talk to. Then again, he's more worried about a lot of other things. This is a lot like the streets, or from what he has heard before, maybe a lot like prison. In prison, you have to be wary. You have to be careful. You have to take out the bigger guy who has strength. And you need to make sure you make friends fast. If you don't, there is the chance things go bad for you. Things may never go your way again. You have to make your own luck. You have to be strong. You have to be sneaky. And you have to fight dirty. That sounds a lot like the damn street. Hell, they just threw him back into his goddamn home. And Deku, he does try to hide the mischievous grin that does crawl along his rat-like face. Right now, him gonna see two men come walking in, and one of them does start being very vocal. All right. Now, last one of you fucks was inspected. So, I have a question for all of you. You're probably all wondering, oh boy, my power, it works. But why this? Why can't I shoot lightning bolts from my nipples or whatever? And I'll tell you this, that little collar on your neck is very, very delicate, very important. It is suppressing most of your power, most of your abilities. You should still be able to feel that little bit of tingle in your quirk. We've heard about a number of you and your powers. We're not really that worried because if you did try to break out, me and my brother here, we would have a lot to say about that. The man looking around and trying to find the most defiant person. And Deku, he does try to lower his head and keep himself on the down low. Drawing attention is bad. If he gets on their bad side on the first fucking day, that means a lot. He'll draw unnecessary attention. Have to lay low. And he does a glance up, hearing a sound. Right now, him gonna look up and go to see one person who does currently have an open wound running. And the person, they do to bring up their hands and go to clench them in a fist. The man with the open wound, his body does immediately go rigid as he does it unnaturally, move down onto his knees, and then go to have his face smash against the floor. Right now, the person holding their hands up, talking about it. They will be known as Mr. Blood. Their brother will also be known as Mr. Blood. Now, if they thought they had a decent chance at escape, they're wrong. This is his ability. This is his brother's ability. They have the ability to manipulate blood, be it theirs or an opponent's. Now, that they've made that quite clear, they all need to understand. If they attack them, they will be restrained. If they try to escape, they may be shot and or killed, depending on the level of injury. And if they are injured jumping off of that point, they will be given time to heal. Or depending on how much money they do make them, treated so they fight longer, they fight better. Now, all of them currently have a balance that will cover them for breakfast and cover them for one fight. Once they get things lined up, they will have their fight. Depending on the odds of their initial bout, they'll be taken care of. Those who do perform well will move up. And after their first fight, they may be able to get their minor injuries treated. A couple of them do have some major injuries, and they've already been treated outside of this particular facility. Right now, the man walking forwards and going to stop directly next to Deku. And Deku, he does go to turn his head and look at the man. And the man is to talk about it. Bringing up a baton, tapping it directly against Deku's shin and going to raise his head. You, for example. I heard about you. You took on most of the White Fangs. Wore a necklace made of the gang leader's teeth. Not a bad idea. Not a bad thing at all. You, I like. You get it. Your injury is already treated, and you're going to be one of our last fighters. You've got a week to heal. Plus, with your quirks, I'm fairly certain your opponent isn't going to like it. We're going to try and see if we can get you against another quirked individual. Though, what are your powers? Deku's staring at them, and he might be able to read this trick. He might already know. He used Black Whip, and, well, one for all. But he can't label 3. The reaction ability. I have 2 quirks. One, it's a long to medium range, and the other is an enhancement ability. Really? How's that work? I can enhance my strength depending on my physical limit. And right now, I don't know how much I can use. Really? Is that true? Even in your weakened state? I think so. The other ability? Black Whip. I'm unused to the ability. I just purchased it. Really? Now that's something good to hear. Then again, it's a shame. I thought you were all natural. See, my brother, he's thought about buying a quirk. Maybe you can give him some tips on that. He might even be able to sweeten your, well, pocket a little bit for the info. You met the doctor, or did you deal with one of his little flunkies? No, I dealt with him directly. It was an interesting thing. He found my quirk to be very interesting. Really? Yes. He talked about buying information about my ability, getting some of my blood and making a copy of it. And how strong are you? Very. Take this collar off and I can show you exactly how strong I am. Let's see. Well, maybe my brother can give you some information in exchange for information. Like a rule. I'll tell you that one for free. Here you don't have control. Then again, could you buy your own freedom? I could. How so? My name is Izuku Midoriya. I'm a member of the Yagi family. That's how I could buy my freedom. I know Dr. Ujiko because he was willing to get information on me. He bid on me. I got a second quirk from him, and he's studying my ability now. Your brother wants something from him? I'm the guy you can call. I'm the guy who can call him and get to the front of the line. I highly doubt that. I don't doubt it. He wanted to study me. He got it. I ask for a favor in return. He might be able to hook your brother up. We'll get into contact with him. Until then, you're sticking to your cell. Your wound should take about a week. Can you fight with your enhanced state? My power relies on me to have full control of my body. I got that. Right now, this collar will be the biggest problem I have. If you want a good show, take it off of me. We can do that. This stuff will take a few minutes to get out of your system, though. And then there's the fact that if you do go against me or my brother, it won't even be a minute. We will bend you to the floor and you will feel every second of it. If you want to, we can make your heart stop. We can make every one of those veins in your heart pumping blood snap like that. Do you understand me? You'll be dead before you hit the floor, and your heart will explode. I got it. Call Dr. Ujiko. Tell him you have Izuku Midoriya, and you're wanting to make a bit of an exchange then. We can certainly try that. Don't know how much you might believe it, though. That name I've heard before. I've definitely heard that name before. You're someone important, aren't you? We'll get quite a bit of money. I'm a member of the goddamn Yagi family. Sure you are, kid. I think he's telling the truth. A man walking up and staring directly at Deku, talking about it. He's heard about that guy. Strong enough to blow away a city block. People already speculating about how he might be the next boss. If this guy's him, then they might have screwed up. We might have screwed up. We just bought him from an auction. Worst thing we did was give him a place to sleep for the night. Listen. Once we get confirmation from the doctor, then perhaps you can figure that all out. As for then, you're going back in your cell. You'll fight, because we'll say you fight. That's our rules. You got it? Deku lowering his head. And the man, he does a sullen glare at Deku. This guy can't be a member of the damn Yagi family. He was alone, and they said they saw him take on the White Fangs alone. Then again, that is quite worrisome. The kid's 16, maybe at that, and he was that powerful. Shit. Maybe he could be, but no. Maybe he's just a mercenary. That could explain how he made enough money to buy another quirk. Then again, the other quirk. Not something that he would have expected from a close range fighter. What exactly is his idea? Then again, buying his own freedom. They can't guarantee that he wouldn't make a call to someone or fuck them over. Call his own people? Yeah. That sounds like a bad idea. And Deku, he currently is led back to his cell. Right now, he does get some food and he does get to lay down on the cold floor. A lot still going through his mind. He needs to figure out how exactly to get around the damn collar. Him bringing up his hand and trying to remember Black Whip. How that ability felt. He does try to attempt to turn on One for All. And when he does get to do so, his ability does in a crackle of lightning. Though it does feel odd. Just like how whenever he used to turn on the ability and hold it, it feels like it's trying to fade quickly. It feels like he's trying to put too much power into himself even now. Hell, he feels like he's barely using, 5%? But at the same time, he feels like he's trying to push 40. Hell, maybe even 50. Shit. Okay, that's not good. That's really, really not good. And what about this other ability? Him leaning against the wall and bringing up his hand. Trying to focus on how to use it. Trying to focus on controlling it. But nothing happens. He does try to sense out this quirk in his mind. In his body. With Danger Sense, it's auto. It's reactive. It's something that is just there. Something that he's had to deal with and live with ever since he discovered the ability. But this one's more active, more external, not internal. So that is definitely going to be a new problem to deal with. Yay. Now, Deku, he does eventually fall asleep. And when he does get to do so, he does go to open his eyes and begin to try and look around. As he does go to see Banjo. And the man, he does go to stand there, bring up a hand. talking about it, putting a hand onto his shoulder. Right, kid. Hell, it's a good thing he manifested his damn quirk. Then again, he was the one who was hoping that he would. Nana Shimura, she's talked about wanting to give him her ability too, but he's not sure when that might happen. Though there's En and he's a little stingy. He's the quiet type. The fact is, though, they don't really have a lot of time. Right now, there's a lot he needs to know about Black Whip. Not just that, a lot he does need to know about his power. Yoichi wanted to talk to him, but he said this was more important. He has his ability. Black Whip is an ability like One for All. It will focus on emotions. If the power is used in anger, it will react. If he does use Black Whip in anger, it will react. His emotional state does rely on it. And it isn't just that. Black Whip can manifest from his hands and maybe even from his own body. Whenever he had the ability, he used it to great lengths. And well, it made him quite the dangerous foe for a number of people to go against in his time. Especially with One for All, it made him quite the devastating boss. People, if they do start to see him with his power though, they will start asking questions. And that is something that may happen in the future very shortly. Anyways, the best thing he can try to do is focus on his emotions and let it respond. Just try to stay calm. If he lets it run out of control in anger, it will do what it did before. He panicked. He was in a heightened state, and that's why the power went out of control. Along with that, he freaked out. That doesn't help. And Deku does get a nod. And the man, he is quite happy that Deku, he is able to keep his head about himself. He can feel the kid's emotions. He's not happy that he's been captured. He's not happy about the situation he has been put in. And Deku, he does go to continue sleeping before there is the next day. He does still try to practice with his ability. And he does even have some conversations with All Might. All Might, he is a little annoyed at Deku. Deku, yes, has been training and trying to get everything done, get everything sorted, but there's a problem. Right now, everyone is aware he's dead. Night Eye, he told the entire damn family. All Might would have never wanted something like that to happen. Though, the Endeavors, they might have caught wind of this. And All Might, he does even try to advise Deku. The first person he should take out when possible is Endeavor. If he does turn around and make a bargain with Ryuko, there is a chance they may turn around and try to do the same bargain with Best Jeanist. Then they would squash the other two families and join forces against the Yagis. Their forces would be enough to overwhelm them. Whoever the hell survives would just crush the others and try to take over. Then again, that delicate little balance they've all built over the last decade, it does mean much. What do you mean? Kid, I've done a number of favors for all the families. They understand respect. They understand any more territory that you try to claim would be too hard for them to control. I can only assume right now some of the people underneath the Yagi banner are either getting ready to turn coat or make new allegiances. Or they've forgotten exactly what I've done for them in my time alive. If they have forgotten, then that means they're traitorous. That means they're willing to jump ship for something better, thinking that little, what is the right word? They're thinking that thing we hit did more damage to the ship than they thought. They thought it was an iceberg. Turns out it was just some floating chunk of ice. Sure, the ship still shook, but that doesn't mean it's going down. I get it. Do you? You left me your power. You died. Yeah, I did, didn't I? Do you remember when it happened? When I died? No, not really. I just remember waking up. I mean, they tried explaining it to me once. They aren't sure if we're the real versions of ourselves. However the hell that works. Essentially, I'm just some fragment of Toshinori. I'm not the real Toshinori. I have his memories and all this other stuff, but I'm not him. That sounds like bullshit to me. If I remember being me my whole damn life and now I'm not, suddenly, how the fuck does all that work? You could try asking a poet, but who knows? Who cares? I'm Toshi. That's a lot. I know. Listen, kid. If I could tell you who offed me, I would. That make things a lot simpler and a lot more convenient. My memories up to then are fuzzy, even now. But I don't know. I can remember maybe a few days, and no, I don't know. No. We started heading towards a city, that's what I remember. Was it towards Endeavor's territory? Yeah, we were gonna head there in a few days. So, you're Toshi a week before he died? Maybe. I don't know. The man going to shrug. And Deku, he does feel a little annoyed. Before he does go to wake up, and his eyes, they do go to open. Him gonna find himself back in the real world. And this, it does certainly mean something. Today he's gonna be having his first fight. It's been a week and he's done some healing. He's been trying to push one for all. But that isn't good. It feels like his quirk is being blocked. It feels like one for all is less powerful. I mean, he can feel that barrier, that wall there. But he's not sure if that's how much he can actually use, or if that's just one for all's temporary limits. He doesn't know. Right now, though, with Black Whip as it is, he may be able to form a plan. It's been a week. Dr. Ujiko has yet to reach back out. And he has been trying to figure out the best way to stall for time. But he can't stall for much longer. If he could push one for all to its absolute limit and break free, that would be good. Though he might break his body in the process. It might be worth it, but at the same time, if he's still in the same damn city, that means the family has been searching for him. Right now, Deku being stopped and told about what is going to happen. They do get to put a mask covering his lower face, along with the fact that he does go to have something cover his upper face. Right now he can still see, but this hooded mask, it does provide him with some cover. He doesn't have protections around his throat, but his lower jaw and the top part of his neck are protected. And he does get a turn looking at the person who is pushing him outwards towards the battlefield. Right now, Deku stepping out. He does go to see another person, as well as two other people who do just stand there. A younger, slimmer looking man who does get to hold a knife, along with an older man who does look to be a little bit more bulky, and who does have a mask covering the top half of his face. And there is where he does turn the young man who is supposedly on his side. They're doing a team match. 2 people against 2 people. The odds are good that whoever wins their fight may team up on the other person. And that will definitely make for some good entertainment. Deku looking around and seeing a ton of people in the ring above. And it does mean quite a bit. Right now, he does go to walk out. And he is given a blade. Told about what's going to be happening. This isn't a match where quirks are going to be used. They typically won't get those until a lot later down the damn line. But this is going to be a knife fight, and they're expecting things to be good. Right now, that guy's put up against them, and he's been here for a number of years. Fact is, odds against them aren't good. If they can secure a win, that's even better. Things will go better for them. So, get out there and kill. Bring home some money, and they should be rolling in the dough. Him annoyed, but walking out. Turning and giving a nod to his teammate, who does a look over at Deku. Right now, nodding back, and turning. Their body does have to be covered with some static. And Deku does his stare at that. Him bring his hands up, as there is a black whip does go to form around Deku's nails, as he does to bring his hand up. And the ability does to move through the air. And the announcer does start talking about it. Tonight they do have a special showing. This is going to be quite the interesting event. Now, they already are well aware of the seasoned veteran, but he is paired with a newbie. And odds today are very good that at least the veteran may survive. These other two, however, are a bit more interesting. One of them has 2 quirks. The other, well, as they've been seeing, is an up-and-coming amateur. One who's managed to survive 3 fights so far. He's still injured, still wounded, but his odds are good. Especially since, with his electrical quirk, he has metal weapons. And so do his opponents. Deku, hearing the person chant on over and over and keep things going. Though Deku, he is looking around. Just happy that this is going to be over soon. If he can hide one for all, if not take that guy out first, then that will be better. And the guy does stare directly at Deku, realizing that he's the more dangerous threat. Someone with 2 abilities typically knows what they're doing. Or they're smart enough to buy a good pairing. And that, Deku doesn't like the gaze he gets. And right now, the match does go to begin. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.